Welcome to Absolutely Abundant, a podcast for soul line creatives. This is episode 11, Breakthrough Retreats. I'm your host, Julie Goetzinger, and today I'm going to talk with you about how I discovered the retreat business model and what it has led to in my business. I started out as a professional photographer. That was my first business, was in portrait photography. And when COVID came, I was forced to close down temporarily because we couldn't do in-person work. And I started brainstorming and thinking about what I wanted to do, and I was scared and wasn't sure what to do. And then I called my psychic, Patty Kemp, and she said that it was time to start offering readings, that I'm actually quite intuitive and a medium, and my spirit guides are waiting for me to open up and realize like how gifted I am. And I kind of had an inkling that I was. People had been coming to me for advice pretty much my whole life, and I thought I just gave good advice. But people would always say, Julie, you always make me feel better. Like, I feel so good. You're so wise. And I realized that it wasn't just me. It was me as an energetic medium being able to tap into their energy field. And without even trying to, it's just something that I can just do. I would receive messages from their spirit guides who wanted them to go in a certain direction. So I started offering these intuitive readings, and I quickly got super busy. I was doing a lot of, one-on-one readings over the phone. Every time I checked my email, there was a new booking, and I was just like inundated. And while it was fun, at the time I was thinking about separating from my partner and didn't have enough money to support my children. So having all the money come in from the intuitive readings was a huge blessing. And it was also overwhelming because there were so many of them and I was doing so much energy work, which is what readings are. And I was thinking about what could I do to help more people in a bigger way. And the idea of retreats came up. One of my friends reached out to me and she said, Julie, there is this speaker, Michelle Villalobos, and she reminds me of you. Like, she's intuitive, she's fun, she's inspiring. And she was like, I can see you hosting retreats like she does. I know you were mentioning that you're interested in hosting a retreat. You should reach out to Michelle. So I reached out to Michelle and I ended up joining her Superstar Breakthrough Retreat. And it was incredible. I saw how she was able to do these retreats all virtually. And at the time it was during COVID, and she had, hosted in-person events, and she's a professional speaker and spoke at many, many events. And she shifted when COVID happened to doing virtual retreats. So the retreat I attended with her was a virtual, and I was actually kind of shocked how close I felt to her community after this one retreat. It was a 3-day immersive experience, and it reminds me like a sorority. Like they choose people that they feel is aligned with their culture and their community. And she said that they had their eye on me. They were like, oh, Julie, like there's something different about her. There's something that, we want her to be in our community. And I did share that I was intuitive, and she said they were intrigued by that. And I started talking about money, and she said, you'd be an amazing money mindset coach. You're spiritual and you approach sales from a different perspective. I think maybe, consider calling yourself an intuitive money mindset coach. And I was just like, oh, wow. Like, okay. And at the end of this retreat experience, it opened up a lot of opportunities for me because I was seeing how I too could lead a retreat like that. And with this new found title of intuitive money mindset coach, I was like, I'm going to try this out. So what I did was I reached out to a couple of people that intuitively I felt drawn to, and I just reached out to them. I told them that there was a project I was working on. Can we set up a time to talk about it? And to my, happy surprise, most of them said yes, like, let's talk. And these were photographers. So I've already been connected to the photography industry as a photographer myself. And I talked with them and I told them my vision for this retreat. I told them that I just wanted to come together in sisterhood with fellow creatives, and I wanted to support each other. I wanted to show each other that we don't have to do this alone. I'd been a professional photographer for 6 years and it was a lonely journey. It just felt like I was just in that hustle mode all the time. I was seeing other photographers be super successful and wondering what I was doing wrong. And, signing up for all the programs, like all the one-offs, like do this program for a month and your business will take off. Well, it didn't happen. And what was missing for me was that community piece, was that long-term community group of cheerleaders was really what I was looking for. And when I met Michelle's group, that is what I felt. And I ended up going on to join her mastermind program, which was a year-long program. And I knew that in order to offer something like this myself, I myself had to say yes to this commitment. I had to commit to the investment. I had to commit to my time and energy and my full presence in that container in order to fully experience it, and also to be able to create my own space and to be a leader. As I see Michelle, I needed to be all in, and that is what I chose to do. And I still am in her program. I'm actually in her 2-year program now. And it's interesting because being a part of it, I see how valuable coaches are. I have access to my coach over Messenger, and that is so valuable. And the real value is the community. And that's what I learned, that we're not meant to do this alone. We're meant to do this like stronger in numbers. As we come together and as we call in those soul aligned partners and co-creators, we just become stronger and stronger. And today in my Free to Fly, so my community is called Free to Fly, because it's all about freeing yourself from limiting beliefs, freeing yourself from past trauma, freeing yourself from what you thought in the past was possible for you, freeing yourself from any limitations. And in our Free to Fly call today, we were talking about our business goals and mapping out our business goals for 2022. And I had everybody share their claims and their goals and the projects that they were going to commit to implementing this quarter. And one of my members said, now that I hear all these goals and how specific they are and the numbers, and, she was like, I want to really get in there. I want to not be afraid to, ask for more. I don't want to be afraid to get specific and, and know that that's not cutting me off from what the universe wants to deliver. I'm still going to leave that space for the magic and for things to unfold the way they're meant to unfold. But I want to ask for more. And, and it was that, when we sit down ourselves to map out our goals, if we even do, it's not as powerful as if we do it with a group, and if we claim it in front of a group, and if we hold each other accountable for those claims. How's that book coming along? How's that course? What's going on with the course? It being a part of a group like that accelerates your progress. And I know, because I'm in my own coaches program and I've led my own now. I'm starting year 2 of leading my Free to Fly community. And I've seen the tremendous growth that everybody has had, and not just the growth in business, but the joy that I see. That is my biggest reward. Like, it is so rewarding to see the friendships forming, to see the bonds deepening, to hear people say, I've never told anybody this, but I feel like I'm safe to say this here. That to me is the greatest gift. And that is what I'm doing. That is my mission, my vision, all of it is to create that safe space for people to be fully expressed. And I even had this thought yesterday that if we were all fully expressed, wouldn't there even be a need for money anymore? Because money is it's a form of exchange. It's just an energy exchange. I give you money, you provide this service for me, you give me this product. What if we all were fully expressing our gifts, doing what we were given by God, universe, source, whatever you want to call it, using our God-given talents to the fullest, what would that world look like? If we all believed in ourselves, if we all trusted ourselves, if we came together as community, what would that look like? And that is my vision. My vision is seeing more and more people opening their eyes and seeing their value, their worth, their gifts, and fully expressing them, not fearing what anyone else thinks, not what their parents are going to think, not what their friends are going to think, not what their current clients are going to think, but just trusting themselves and fully stepping into their power and their gifts. What would that look like? And to build a community of more and more people who believe in that vision too, who see themselves as that potential leader, who maybe want to host their own retreats. I know for me, when I joined Michelle's retreat, I was thinking, okay, well, I'm going to learn how to do this because I was in my business mind when I signed up. I have a lot of masculine energy as well, which is that like, let's do things, let's get things done, like let's put this together. And my masculine energy was like, okay, you need to do this because you need to see how she does this. She's brilliant. She's extremely successful. Watch what she does. That's why I signed up. And then I didn't know that I was also getting this amazing family, this divine family of cheerleaders, of people who genuinely want what's best for me. And that is the same thing that I'm doing. I'm paying it forward by creating my own community, by having my own community of people who are there for each other through it all. And we all say, like, there's nothing off the table. There's nothing you can't share here. There's nothing you will be condemned for, judged for, dismissed for. No, this is a nest. This is your safe space to come, to be nurtured, to be loved. And then you can fly. And that is my vision. And that is what I'm creating with my community. And this vision starts with the Abundance Breakthrough Retreat. And the Abundance Breakthrough Retreat is when we do come together, either virtually or in person. Our next retreat is February 10th to 12th. It is virtual. And then after that, we have our April 7th to 9th retreat in Washington, D.C. That's where I live. And both are incredibly powerful. Both are equally special. And every retreat is completely different. The people who join my Free to Fly program after the retreat, they get to come back to every retreat. It's included in the program. And the majority of them do. I would say 8 out of 10 of them come back to all the retreats. And I've asked them why. Why do you keep coming back? And they said, because you're never done, learning and growing and evolving. And all of your retreats are different. And the reason why all my retreats are different is because I'm intuitively guided. I'm divinely guided as to what needs to be discussed, what needs to be looked at, what needs to be mapped out, from that masculine energy. What do we need to focus on here? And then also, what do we need to open up to? What are we, allowing now? What wants to be created now? And all of the retreats are different because the energy in the room dictates where we go. I have an Abundance Breakthrough workbook, and we always laugh about it. We're like, right, here's our workbook. And then Spirit's like, ha, 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 And when I say spirit, that's my word for universe. I like the word spirit because it reminds me of happiness. It reminds me of the sun, joy. So that word spirit is synonymous with joy for me. So that's why I use that word. But the universe, what does the universe have in store for us? Where were we being guided to go here? And when we go to these in-person retreats, it's so amazing how it unfolds, and the stories of what happens at the airport and the hotel and at dinner. And that is where that rich conversation comes out. That is when the depth comes out. We were in Costa Rica this past November, my Free to Fly community. And we at one dinner, we started brainstorming. We just went in it and we were like, I want to know, like, what do you do with this? And we just started brainstorming because we're all business owners. So we were in it and we're like, yeah, like feeling that energy and that excitement for our businesses. And then another night we're in the hot tub talking about sexual energy and what is it? And like, what do we do with it? And it's just like, wow, these rich conversations that are happening everywhere. It doesn't have to happen in the boardroom. It doesn't have to happen in the conference room, right? And same thing, like if the retreat is virtual, people will have things happen in their personal lives or sometimes in their business that reflects what we're talking about in the retreat. Not sometimes, it always happens. Nothing is by accident. An ex will come back, or, there'll be some kind of altercation with the mom, or something will happen because as we grow and expand and shift, people can feel that. And they're either on board with that if they are open to growing and shifting and changing, or they're going to be resistant to that if what you were doing before, who you were being before, benefited them. If you suddenly start focusing on yourself and start saying no to things that feel out of alignment for you, they're going to act out. They're going to come out and be like, what do you think you're doing? Nope, this isn't in our agreement. What are you doing? And we talk about this at the retreat too, that's an opportunity for boundary setting, for speaking your mind, for standing your ground, for also having compassion and listening from an open heart. So, it's an energetic retreat is what it is. And it's a magical container. It's a sacred container. And I personally talk to everybody who is a candidate for the retreat. So anyone who is interested in joining, I do set up a phone call with them because I want to make sure that it's a really good fit for them and for us. Like, this is mutual. This is a sacred space. This is a space that I've poured an incredible amount of love and energy, and this is a love of mine. This is a love of my life. I will say my community is one of my greatest loves. And I know that now. I see that. I feel it. And to welcome another in is, there's a process to that. There's a feeling into that. There's a conversation that needs to happen to make sure that we're a match on both sides. So that is what I invite you to consider. So if this is something that you are feeling called towards, if you're called to me or you're called to my community, my podcast or my Facebook group, or whatever you're feeling that draw to me and to my community, I invite you to consider setting up a phone conversation with me. The link will be in the show notes, so you can set up a call with me. And during the call, we'll just talk about where you are. What is your vision for yourself? Do you even let yourself have a big dream? Those big, scary goals, as they say. Do you even have one? Have you let yourself even go there? And if you have, what could be blocking you from stepping into that vision? That is my specialty in feeling into people's blocks. So energetically, I can feel it. A lot of times your spirit guides will just flat out tell me. They'll just tell me. I'll just hear mom, or I'll hear criticism. I'll hear certain phrases, words that during that very first phone call, I will share with you, this is what I'm seeing. This is what I'm feeling. And in order to break free from that block, there's going to be energetic work that's going to be required. There's going to be inner work. There's going to be some deep soul work required in order to break through that block. Me telling you what your blocks are is not going to help you if you don't know how to get rid of them. So the way to get rid of them is to commit to saying yes to, working with me or with another coach, or to come to our Abundance Breakthrough Retreat, where we will address your individual block and we will release that block together. We will work on that together. And it's a 3-day immersive experience. Will all of that be cleared during the retreat? Maybe, maybe not. Most likely it's going to take further digging, further retrieval, further excavation, which is what happens in my Free to Fly mastermind program, which is after the retreat. But if you feel called to learn more about this retreat, the next one is February 10th to 12th. It is virtual. And after that, it is April 7th to 9th in Washington, D.C. And we can talk about all the details. There is a payment plan available, so we can work with your budget. And yeah, that's what I wanted to share today. And I also, if you're interested in, hosting your own retreats, attending a retreat like this is a great way to learn how to host your own, all the parts involved, all the details, all the logistics, all of that. To experience it for yourself is really powerful. And if you're wanting others to invest in you, you need to invest in yourself first. It's never fails to be the truth that when we invest in ourselves, others feel more comfortable investing in us. If we hold on tightly to our money, if we hoard our money, if we don't hire others, others aren't going to hire us. Others are going to come to us and not want to pay us. So it's about being easier with your money. It's about being easier with your expectations, like being more in that flow, being more into the surrender. I'm here. I'm called to be here. I'm not really sure why, but I'm here. Here I am, and I'm going to be fully present. So that's what I wanted to share today. I'm so happy to have you here, and come back next week for another exciting episode of Absolutely Abundant, a podcast for soul line creatives. Love to all.